Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Before I do an intro, welcome to From the Chair with Big Money Exchange, now to Big Money Dodge.
Ladies and gentlemen, wrestlers, wrestlettes, whatever, we have recently lost a true legend in the business, the Iron Sheik. So if you can, moment of silence as I do the 10-bell salute. Thank you.
Now, to the intros. We've got on the bottom down there Mr. Big Money Dodge, a manager from Southern California and the financial backing of this podcast. I am the executive producer with the most. I'm Anthony Wagner. In the other corner, in the upper corner, that ugly little bearded little bitch up there. We call him Wheels Natalia. And Draven, I'll tell you this in a minute. And we'd like to welcome our guest, Hellbound member, High Five member, Draven Vargas. Now, why do we call him Wheels Natalie? Simple. Remember that story where you made him wear a bra and he made you wear a Catholic schoolgirl outfit and he laughed at you? Remember that story?
Yeah.
Now it's your turn, sir, because he made a bet with his executive producer that he could go perfect on WrestleMania picks.
Yeah.
And if he lost, he would have to wear a dress to a Mariners game.
Oh.
And not only that, I added he would have to find the cutest girl to get the phone number. I just wanted to throw that in.
So, seems how I am friends with you on Facebook. When that Mariners game happens in August, I will make sure I send you a picture of Natalia in his dress. So you, sir,
excellent,
turn around and laugh your ass off at him because he deserves it. And Draven,
yeah, thank you.
Now, sir, please tell us about you, your accomplishments, and then we'll start our interview.
Let's see. As far as accomplishments, I guess multiple-time NWWA heavyweight champion, multiple-time PMPW heavyweight champion, too many tag team championships to even list. Pretty much every promotion that I've ever set foot in, with multiple partners, I've won tag team titles, and that goes all the way back to the very beginning of my career, almost 20 years ago. I've always been pretty much a tag team specialist. I've wrestled all along the West Coast, California, Oregon, Washington, Idaho. Wouldn't mind adding another state or two to that before I wrap it all up. But I guess that's about it. Almost 20 years in this business is quite an accomplishment, and still being able to walk. So,
well, thank you for all those years, sir.
Exactly.
Oh, well, thank you for the support. We appreciate it.
So Natalie, would you like to start us off?
Not gonna live this down for a long time now. So I know part of this, but who were your wrestling heroes growing up?
Oh, let's see. Looking back, a lot of my wrestling heroes probably didn't age well, because the earliest person I remember being a giant fan of is Superfly Jimmy Snuka. You know, it was just a completely different person. Obviously, that didn't turn out great. And then the next person I remember being a giant fan of is Ultimate Warrior, who not a great in-ring performer, but man, that guy was just a great performer. Like, he was just such a spectacle. And I've always tried to do that in wrestling. Just, try to get a balance of be good in the ring, but also just entertain the fans. That's all. That's what they came for. If you can do 1,000 flippy doos, that's awesome. But I've heard crowds be completely dead silent, when guys are just absolutely killing themselves. And then you go out and you work a headlock for 5 minutes and the crowd's going ape shit. So, I've grown to appreciate him as a performer as opposed to in ring ability. Um, Other heroes, other than that, Fit Finley. When I got older and started appreciating the actual art of wrestling and the wrestling side. In fact, as far as wrestling, I say I try to model myself after Finley. A heavy hitter, still grab those submissions, but overall, just kind of a rough and ready guy who's going to brawl. Doesn't mind getting their nose broken just so I can, smash your face. That's just the way I've tried to be.
Big
This
money.
guy's
Go ahead.
big money. This guy's big
Yep.
money.
Oh.
Your top 5 female wrestlers of all time.
Top 5 female wrestlers of all time.
Yes, sir.
Oh man, that became a lot harder of a question to answer in the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years, when there was some good performers and everything, but that list was a lot shorter. And lately, it's become so much harder. But you got to put Lita up there. Lita is one of those women who really redefined women's wrestling. Trish Stratus. Teenage me really appreciated Trish Stratus for her in-ring skills as well as other attributes. Nowadays, you got, man, it's hard. Asuka is absolutely incredible to watch.
She's killing
She's absolutely killing it. Yeah, and it looks like she's killing everybody that's in the ring with her, which is
yeah.
2 more. I'm trying to really think. Becky Lynch is an incredible performer overall.
Yep.
And number 5, man, I got to give it to Mae Young. Just being able to have that long career, taking bumps when she can, is on, should be getting her handicap sticker and everything. Getting that short walk to the front and everything. Just going out there, just giving everything to the last of her. That's just a big thing to look up to.
True story.
Now, should I ask a question or should I ask for a story? Decisions,
Flip a quarter if you got one.
decisions. I mean, I promised Dodge he had the night off being picked on. This is all about Natty tonight. This is all about Natty tonight. Oh, what the hell. So, what is your juiciest secret you have about our friend, Mr. Natty?
Oh, man.
Hold on, I gotta take a drink before I speak.
Let's see. I don't even. There's probably one of the juiciest stories I remember is I remember going back to back in the day. We'd go to Tito's Wrestling out in Hillsboro, and one night after we get done wrestling, all the guys from Longview were like, "Hey, would you like to go to the strip club?" And I was like, "Hey, I'm only 20. I'm only 20. I can't go to the strip club." They're like, no, this one's cool. You can be 18. And I remember going there, and it was a whole different environment. Never been to a strip club my whole life. Only ever seen them on TV. And this was not what you have seen on TV. This wasn't the high class neon lights, all the girls looking absolutely incredible. This was a hole in the wall juice bar that was pretty dingy. And I do recall Miss Natalie having a absolutely gigantic smile on his face coming out of one of the dance rooms. And that was my introduction to strip clubs. It was definitely not the last time I've been to one of those.
Okay, Miss
Yes.
Natty, would you like to rebuttal? No? Next question then, Natty.
Yeah, but you're forgetting one important part of that story. I came
What's
out
that?
with a giant. I came out with a giant smile on my face. You wanted Nikki to get you a lap dance with that same dancer because she was giving them away for like $25 or whatever it was. And I got like the longest song in the building. So I'm thinking you're going to get the same smile when you come out. You had a pissed off smile because you got the shortest.
Not only was it the shortest song, it was "Do You Believe in Magic?" I'm like, who is picking "Do You Believe in Magic" to strip to? I was not. I was like, what is this?
Okay.
That is the worst song ever to strip to, by the way.
And I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, this was going to be an awesome night.
Yep.
So
that was a pretty awesome night.
That was.
So Miss Natalie, what's your next question?
It is a family show, and I support single moms many a time at the strip club. So.
I love this guy.
So who are some of your biggest rivals?
My biggest rivals? Oh man, that's a pretty long list. Kind of depends on what time, what period. Going back to pretty early on, the rivals that really kind of defined me and made me kind of a big name in the area. I used to team with Tommy Celsius against the original Cowboys, Widowmaker and Tex Thompson. We feuded for a little over a year. We continued that when Lone Star took over for Widowmaker. That feud really made me a pretty much bigger name. You know, instead of being a preliminary guy, I ended up by the end of that main event and shows and everything. That was my first tag titles, I believe. One of my biggest rivals has actually been one of my tag team partners, Pat Large. We started off when we first started interacting. I was actually his wife at the time. Mary Jane was my manager, and we were feuding with them, and I was whipping his ass all the time. And then we eventually became a tag team, and then we went on to actually feud over the PNPW heavyweight title with some of the most brutal matches I think that place has seen. We just beat the crap out of each other, you know. Every night coming back with boot prints and black eyes and everything, you know, which those of you love, you hit harder is the way I've always had looked at things. Me and Dr. Cleaver, I think, have had probably we've wrestled each other for almost 20 years. And every time we wrestle each other, it's just a brutal match. And it's a lot of fun. And it's also a lot of not fun because, you know, it's just when you're going out there and every time you're hitting each other, you're seeing stars. That's something you do, you deal with only a few guys in this business. And we've been doing it pretty steady for almost 20 years. And even though I don't think we've ever really feuded, I think we've had one of the longest running histories of matches in the Northwest. Other than that, I can't really. Ricky Gibson, after we broke up, was a pretty big rival. Other than that, it's just been kind of here and there, spots. There hasn't been super big rivalries other than those ones.
Wow. Nate?
It's your question.
Oh, it's mine. Well, what is the scariest injury you've ever had in your career?
That's kind of a toss-up between two. One of the nastiest injuries I ever got was taking an overhead belly-to-belly suplex from Bubba Blanchard, and the first thing that hit the ground was, as Gorilla Monsoon would say, is that exterior occipital protuberance, that little bump on the back of your head.
Yeah.
And I hit, and instantly it was like swimming in water. Instantly, like I was just like, oh, I'm messed up. I am messed up. And that one was the first time I ever got a MRI or CAT scan or whatever they give you to see if you got your brain messed up. And I got pretty lucky on that. They said they only saw like a really, really faint shadow. There wasn't a big, nasty concussion. But that one was pretty scary. And I think the other one was Jason Sullivan body slamming me on like a tile floor. And the minute I hit, I thought I shattered my hip. Like I was just like, I'm not getting up. And I remember telling MJ that I'm like, I just broke my hip. I am not getting up. I'm not getting up. And I sat there for a minute and I started, okay, well I can move my hip and I move my leg around. And I was like, okay, it's not broken. I don't feel grinding. And that was actually went in, and that was when High Five won our first tag team titles. Was that match? So that was from thinking you broke your hip to winning the belts is a big big swing.
It was your victory injury.
Yep. Yeah, that was probably one of the lamest splashes I've ever given my whole life because I pride myself on getting a lot of height on those in-ring splashes, and I barely got off the ground because I could barely move. But, it was me. It was the splash following a senton from Pugsley, so it was didn't take much to follow that up with the victory. So.
Wow. Scary.
Very.
Yeah. No.
Let's see here. In honor of Big Money Dodge, I'll ask a question this time, Natty. That way I can spare you a little bit of embarrassment. In honor of Big Money Dodge, we always ask this question. In your opinion, the top 5 managers.
You could put me in.
Top 5.
I know we just met. I'm just saying.
Managers.
Top 5 managers. Man, that's well, number 1, A and B is Heenan and Cornette, no doubt about it. In my opinion, there's no way to pick between those two as far as who's the best. Gun to my head, I'd probably have to say Heenan has the slight edge just because of I absolutely love Heenan's comedy, but that was more outside of the managing. Heyman, of course, is real close, almost 1C there. Oh man, Lita was a great manager, really good at keeping the crowd and getting the crowd behind the guys when they're out there killing each other and killing themselves, and probably wouldn't be up to working a crowd,
That's true.
And man, that's a hard one to get a 5th one because those are the only ones that really. Of course, how could I even forget Scary Sherry? Sherry was just absolutely incredible too. Like I remember when I first discovered WCW later, around the time the NWO was forming, I was a huge mark for the Harlem Heat, and Sherry was incredible as their manager. That was seeing her in a completely different light because the last time I'd seen her was with Macho Man. So seeing that was a big swing of things there. But that's probably my top 5 there.
Natty?
Go ahead, ladies first. Go ahead.
So what's it like being part of like 2 completely different tag teams? Because High Five and Hellbound are probably like the complete opposites of what you could get.
Yeah, it's a little bit. It's really weird. Because like you said, High Five is all about having fun, all about partying, going out there, putting on a great show. Hellbound is all about going out there and just kicking ass, taking names, just trying to dominate wherever we will go. And going between that kind of metal vibe and then the stoner vibe is a big difference. And what's really weird is, shows where you got, Pat's there in the house and you got Hellbound and High Five and kind of got to balance the two. The way I kind of talk to people, it's like I have 2 girlfriends, neither, they both know about each other. They don't get jealous, but it's hard to keep that balance. When I first started with Hellbound, it was a little bit harder to define that, because people are like, are you leaving Pat? What's going on? I was like, no, that's still going on. I'm just doing this too. It's like, it's just a different vibe, Heck, recently at Metal Mania 2, High Five took on Hellbound, and that was, but again, those are guys you love, and you're getting paid to go out there and have a fight, and that's what you do. You go out there, you put on the best fight you can.
Yep.
Also, I knew that I would have to pay their bar tab, and Hellbound drinks pretty heavily. That's the one thing that kind of goes between High Five and Hellbound is outside the ring, we have a very similar vibe. Me and Petrov like to smoke. Me and Rat King, we like to drink. And me and Pat, we like all of it. So, it's kind of a similar vibe there, but yeah, just a love of having a good time and whooping ass kind of goes across both. But other than that, it's a completely different vibe and look and everything.
Especially when one's a face and the other's a heel. How the hell?
Yeah, we did that. I remember when Pat first came to BCW after we formed Hellbound, and Pat's like, "What's going on?" And I said, "Pat, this is like the Marvel multiverse, and in this multiverse, we're not a tag team. We're different here." But then that kind of evolved. Hellbound became, faces, but now sliding back more to that little more rough and ready, slightly heel style. So yeah, it's, the difference there is kind of is much different. So
yeah, true. My question, right?
Yep.
You're the biggest name you have ever wrestled in your entire career.
As far as being in a match with, would be Matt Bourne. It was me and Nate Andrews took on Matt Bourne and Wade Hess. That was a lot of fun. Seeing somebody you'd grown up watching, being in the ring with them. As far as somebody I've actually had physical interaction with in a ring, would be Finley. He came to DOA. Yeah, and he came to DOA twice. We had seminars both times. I had the absolute hardest time not just being a giant drooling, fan, just fanboying out for him because, he's, like I said, he's in my top 5, probably top 3 of all time as far as favorite wrestlers, overall, not guys that I've throughout, but me and Nate Andrews got to do a run-in on a match with him, and they're halfway to the back. We jump him and we're fighting to the back, and my brain's just like, holy crap, I'm fighting Finley. This is amazing. Other than that, been on the name with shows with lots of big guys, but haven't really had. Colt Cabana would be up there too, but definitely the other two I would say are bigger names.
Nice.
Very nice. Let's see here.
Don't even think about bringing his name up.
Oh no, I told you I'm not here to burn you tonight, Big Bunny. I'm not. This isn't about you tonight. This is all about Natty.
Natty, you're looking good tonight, Natty.
Thank you. I try.
It's all about Natty, but it's an honor for this interview for Natty because now he's only got Petrov left of Hellbound, and he's interviewed every member of Hellbound.
Yep.
But actually, I think there's another member, isn't there? Now, didn't Cleaver join Hellbound?
Yeah, Cleaver has joined Hellbound. He actually lost he had a title match against the Rat King, and the stipulation was if Doc won, he got the title. If Rat King won, Doc was forced to join Hellbound. And at first, he was somewhat of a reluctant member, but now we go to DOA, and I see him wearing his Hellbound shirt going to DOA, which I feel a lot of pride for. So
now I guess you got 2 people left to interview in Hellbound there,
Yep.
Natty. Better get to it.
I'll get it done.
Anyways, let's see here. Let's see here. Question. After it's all said and done, sir, what's the mark you want to leave on the wrestling world?
I think I've left lots of marks. I think the mark I've already kind of left, which being really well known to the fans as somebody who's going to give them a great match, and above that, just entertain them. Again, I'd much rather watch a match where there's 5 moves in 20 minutes, and the guys entertain the hell out of me. And guys that go 20 minutes and do 8,000 things, and I'm like, I saw those were cool things, but I don't even remember your guys' names. So I think that just always consistently when people come out, when people see you, they know they're going to be entertained. That's a great mark to leave. And I think the mark I'm trying to leave the most is just improve the next generation. This next generation is coming up. They are so much better than we were, 10, 15, 20 years ago. So much better. They're getting off on a good foot. They're coming in already well trained, and so they're coming in only half trained. So anything I can do that helps them fine tune that, maybe a move, a suggestion, something like that, anything like that is what I want to leave. Things I can look and go, hey, that guy did that because I told him. Those things are the subtle things that not everybody knows about, but inside your head, and you're truly proud of. And that's what I just improve the show, every show you're on, as much as possible. Whether that's, give us somebody idea, whether it's just being the funniest guy on the show, whatever you can do to make the show better. And that's the mark I've always tried to leave, is just improve everything and make everybody go home happy.
Very nice. All right, Natty, you're up.
So, if you had a dream opponent from any generation, who would it be and why?
Oh, that one is a hard one. I would absolutely love to go one-on-one with Finley. I've brought him up a lot throughout this podcast, but, actually, you know what? I'd actually almost have to amend that and say Regal. Because me and Finley are a very similar style. Me and Regal, I think that would be, they're very much like my, on my Mount Rushmore. They kind of are very similar as far as me being, putting them in they're probably like number 3A and 3B on my top 5, because I love the style. They both have kind of a similar style, but different aspects of it. It's like I would say the pretty and the brutal versions of the same style, that European British style. But Regal, just being able to go in there, and I think I'd have a hard time not cracking up with the faces he pulls in matches and the stuff he'll do. But I think that would be just an absolutely incredible match. I think that you'd be in the middle of the match learning and realizing that you're learning while you're wrestling. And that's always a wonderful experience when you're going, oh, okay, I see what's going on now. But yeah, that's a toss up between those two, but I think I'd have to go with Regal.
Wow. All right, my question. If you
Hold on, we have a question in the comments from.
Okay, don't interrupt, Mr. Dodge there, Natty. I'll get to the question when I'm getting ready to get to the question.
Calm your hormones down, ma'am. Calm down.
Mr. Dodge.
Calm down.
Mr. Dodge, please continue with your question.
Thank you. Very smart man. You should listen to a man once in a while. Anyways, if you could book a WrestleMania caliber event, what would your card be like, and who would be in each match?
Oh, man. Oh, God. You guys are putting me on the spot with some really hard questions today. That's a WrestleMania. I'm assuming we're going with the classic one-night WrestleMania, not a two-night, because we'll be here all night.
One night. I'm not Vince McMahon. I'm not that rich.
If I could go from guys from any generation, I would probably, oh God, Lord, I'd probably go with like a 97, 98 lucha cluster fuck match to start off the show. Guys just flying everywhere. The whole cruiser division in there, just going up there and just killing it. That's going to be a great way to get that crowd just up and hype right off the bat, just ready to go. And I know you got a lot of guys from nowadays that could be in there too, but that generation really seemed to know not just how to do the moves, but how to entertain too. How to, we're still work the crowd, not forget about them. After that, I'd probably go with a tag match, probably FTR and FTR versus the Hart Foundation. I'm sure that's a dream match for those guys, and then you're going to go from that fast paced, frenetic to that next match just being an absolute spectacle, an absolute taking you to school kind of match. That's going to be one of the greatest matches you're going to see that night. Because those guys all know how to work that tag style.
Yeah.
Oh man, this one's hard. I would probably just to fast forward as far as a main event. I think Stone Cold versus. Oh, good Lord. That's a Stone Cold versus Kevin Owens. Probably not actually main event, probably like semi-main, but both in their peak. I know we've seen it, but we haven't seen it when they're at their peak. Those two guys just brawling all over would be incredible when, you get peak Austin versus peak Owens.
As long as they
probably
drink after the match.
Oh, yeah, of course. I don't care if they drink during the match. Somewhere in there, I'd probably take it really old school and have like a Money in the Bank ladder match. Get some guys like Ricochet in there, Sami Zayn, Attitude Era Hardys. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh man, AJ Styles. And probably like Seth Rollins, just get that big cross-generational group of guys and have all sorts of styles. Probably have a three-way women's match between like Attitude Era Lita, Charlotte would probably be good, and she's just good for getting the heat. And probably, I don't even know who I'd put in there the third, but I would definitely put in a third in there. Trying to think on that one. Half this podcast has just been me going, Actually, probably just leave it at that. Maybe Charlotte versus Lita. I think those two would just have an absolute daredevil of a match. Just
insane.
Yeah, somebody's gonna. It's gonna be hard seeing somebody. You'd have to be lucky to see both people walk out of there uninjured because they're just gonna try to outdo each other.
Yeah.
And then probably for an Intercontinental title match, like Ziggler versus Luke Harper. I think that was probably his peak. Yeah, like when he was Intercontinental Champion, Luke Harper. That was probably peak him. Those and probably throw in somebody like a Steamboat in there, just as a completely different aspect in there. I think Steamboat getting brutalized by Harper and being able to go out there and just having an absolutely balls to the wall bump for each other match with Ziggler all in the same match would be a pretty cool mixture there.
Definitely.
And I think I'm pretty much tapped out for that card, but that would be a pretty dang good card.
That is a good card.
You can get your tickets now on Ticketmaster.com.
Yeah, exactly. So the question that we have in the chat is from Mr. Deontay Ford.
Okay.
he would like to know, who do you want to face in the Pacific Northwest before you retire, sir?
Oh, I've been lucky enough to get most of those. Trying to think of the people that I haven't wrestled that I really would like to get before I retire. Because yeah, like I said, luckily in the position that me and Pat have been on DOA, a lot of the young guys there we've gotten the chance to work with. There's a lot of guys I've gotten to work with in BCW that I might not have gotten the chance to work with elsewhere. Oh man, I think I'd really like to wrestle Derek Shaw. You know, I think we could have a nice brutal match with each other. I like his style, his blending of the suplexes and a bit of that strong style in there. I'd say, oh man, I'm trying to think of who else would be really up there. He's probably one of the guys I'd like to work with most because he's just a absolute talent in there. You know, he's a hard worker, and he's great at what he does.
Very cool. All right, Natty, you're up.
So, tell us one crazy story from the little airport shed like training school that you and I went to.
Oh, let's see. I remember one of the things that completely changed my outlook on wrestling. I remember I went out and it was a three-way match between the members of the then Juggalo Nation. Me and Rogue, who was my tag team partner, and Grumpy. We were all a team, but we went out there and we had a three-way match for the United States title or something like that. It was the mid-card title.
Yeah,
and
the one the Widow brought in. And
yeah. And we went out there and we had this hardcore match and we hit each other with every cookie sheet and kendo sticks and everything. We did everything we could think of to do each other. And I had the biggest smile on my face. And I remember walking over to Buzz Anderson and go, "What did you think of that match, Buzz?" And he looks at me and goes, "Well, that was the drizzling shits." But now I realize that just is not his style. He's very much an old school, mid-Atlantic, go out and have a absolute, school match. It's just everything, all the wrestling you could want, but nothing hardcore. And we went out there and we gave him the exact opposite. And he was not happy with that. Other than that, I remember the first show I ever was on, as kind of my introduction to the business. Everybody in the locker room was allowed to chop me as many times as they wanted. So before I even went out for the Battle Royal that night, my chest was already open and bleeding and purple. And then everybody and their mom chopped the shit out of me throughout the whole Battle Royal. So it was a very brutal night, but chops don't bother me at all nowadays after that,
Yeah, that hardcore match we nicknamed the match of 1,000 nut shots because you guys hit each other with like salad tongs, cricket, croquet mallets, and everything you could think of.
Yeah.
Kind of a painful night for me too because I missed my cue with Rogue because I was doing commentary and he threw that Rubbermaid trash can and nailed me right in the face.
I remember at Tito's one time when you were managing me and Rogue, and they checked me and Rogue for weapons, and no weapons at all. And then towards the end of the match, we slide out of the ring, and we shoved Nate forward, and we pulled the cookie sheet out from behind him in the wheelchair and started hitting our opponents with it. And we thought that was great, sneaking a weapon in the wheelchair for our manager.
Is that the wetbacks comment, Nathan?
Yes, I remember that. Because that was the time that you did that with the water. And everybody turned and looked at me like I was a part of it. One of those times I thought I was gonna die.
To be fair, I would never say something like that on my own. That was Tito Carry On looking at me and saying, I need you to go out there and say this extremely offensive thing to these people. And I would not say the word. I would not say the word, but I did pour water down my back. And but that was all Tito. And nowadays I wouldn't even dream of doing something like that because yeah, that would be the end of the career nowadays. That was a much different time. And like I said, a guy, you have a Hispanic gentleman telling you to go out there and say things, and you're like, oh, okay, But yeah, that's not one of my proudest moments in my wrestling career. But it did get its desired intent and really pissed off the crowd there. So.
It did. And here's what I remember about the cookie sheet. You guys didn't tell me you were in the main event. You just told me at the back to put it behind my back. And I sat out there for 3 hours with a cookie sheet in the back with the sun beating down on me going, anytime, guys.
Yeah. I didn't think about that. Rogue did. Rogue probably thought it was hilarious.
No, he probably thought of that. No.
That place I really enjoyed that place. It was a completely different environment, and it was a lot of fun. Some of the first wrestling I ever did in front of a crowd that, other than that little airplane shack thing, Tito's was awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, Big Money.
Of course, the hard-hitting questions come to me. Well, who in Southern California have you wrestled from Southern California?
In Southern California? I don't know. Most of the guys I've wrestled from California have been like mid-California guys, like Sacramento. Wrestled, Ugly and the Riv and a lot of those guys. Southern California, I think the only guys I would have wrestled from Southern California would have been back in WCWC when they were having the WC versus PWA feuds. So they were bringing the guys up from down in the LA area, and that's been so long ago I don't even remember. As far as Southern Cali specifically, I can't think of who it would be. Most of the guys, like I said, are more mid or Northern California that I've wrestled. Cool.
I'm gonna pretend he didn't just say that because I gotta be nice to Dodge tonight. I've got to be nice to Dodge tonight.
You do, but I don't.
Gotta be nice to Dodge tonight. I can't. So my next question is, Sticky Finger Natalia up there, his favorite snack is peanut butter. Anything with peanut butter on it. What is your favorite cookie or snack?
Oh, I like, as far as not sticky or not sugary snacks, I like chips. I like barbecue Lays and Cool Ranch Doritos. As far as sticky snacks, probably like Reese's Peanut Butter Cups or Fast Breaks. Those are probably my favorites. Anything that's got that Reese's Peanut Butter in it, pretty dang good.
That's good. And Dodge, you don't know how hard it was for me to restrain from asking that question.
You wonder why I asked that question.
Natalia, you're up.
So before I ask this, I love you, Big Money, but what's your thoughts on Mikey O'Shea?
Is Big Money not a fan of Mikey?
Oh no, there's a story that goes into that.
Oh, I like Mikey. I've never had the chance to work with him. I would definitely wouldn't mind working with Mikey O'Shea. He's a great entertainer, and he's a hell of a wrestler. But I've never really had the chance to interact with him much in personal. So
Good.
but now I have to hear this story, Big Money.
You knew it was coming.
Remember, it wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Okay. So, my group, I have 3 men. Jimmy Mayhem, which is in LA, and he had to fight the TikToker, Mikey O'Shea. In Orange, California at RPW, Relentless Pro Wrestling. Big shout out, by the way. I know Billy Bonds messaged me. Anyways, so it was Jimmy versus Mikey. They were just battling it out. Jimmy was laying in the center of the ring. Being a manager, I was trying to help him out. So I tried to get in the ring. The ref was stupid and not letting me, of all people, help my own partner, my own, teammate. So he was telling me, no, Dodge, you can't come in, you can't come in. I looked behind the stupid zebra, and lo and behold, here comes Mikey O'Shea coming right at me. And I'm like, this is going to hurt. So he grabs my $100 shirt, says, I told you, don't get in my matches. So as he says that, he turns around. Jimmy Mayhem is about to deck him, put his lights out. Well, instead of hitting Mikey, he hits me. And I fly about 2 feet, head first into a chair. Thank God nobody was sitting in that chair or we'd have a lawsuit. So, knocked me out for 2 minutes. Come to find out, they both win. And from there, anyways, it's a long story. He threatened me before the show. He had an interview with a woman named Rain, and it scared the holy hell out of me. I thought he was serious. But before the show, he was all Mr. Hey, Dodge, gives me a big old hug, and then all of a sudden, he decides to be mean to me. I was helping my partner. The zebra wouldn't let me go in. And what do I get? A rip in my shirt. Thanks to Mikey. Next question. I'm not asking. I'm moving on.
It was either that one or the adoption story.
Oh, I can tell you that one. My very first show as a manager. Okay? Not thinking, because I'm the bad guy. Well, it wasn't my first show, but as a heel, it was my first show. And this kid was so annoying, yelling at me, calling my money monopoly, money, blah, blah, blah. And I turn around and I'm like, oh, yeah? Well, you were adopted. So shut up and sit down. And guess what? He did. But come to find out after the show, he was actually adopted.
Ouch.
So
yeah.
I learned to keep my mouth shut about that now. So I felt so bad. I said, you know what? Let me buy you 3 shirts out of anybody, and let me buy you tickets to the next show. I'm so sorry. The parents understood it's part of the show, all that and this, and I'm like, yeah, but I didn't really mean like I'm the bad guy, but I didn't know it was true. I'm so sorry. So now he follows me on social media, and now he's a fan of mine.
Yeah.
But,
well, like you said, like Zane, I always like to quote Zangief from Wreck-It Ralph. Just because you're a bad guy doesn't mean you're a bad guy. You know, we still. I've said something. I have made kids cry, and I feel bad about it every time. I mean, every once in a while, the kid's an asshole, and I don't care so much. But usually, I feel really bad when I make kids cry because I'm just trying to get them angry, and some kids just take that wrong, and you yell at a little kid thinking they're gonna scream at me back, and they just tuck into their dad and start crying, and you're like, oh no, that's not what I meant to do.
The kid's look when I said that was like mouth dropped, like. And then sat down and was quiet. So the next show, I saw the kid. He was yelling at me again. I was like, I'm just going to walk by. I'm going to go to Bill Chew and grab his walker and throw it in the ring, make his ass crawl in. But ignore this kid. I felt so bad. I really felt bad. But now I love him.
Okay.
Now he knows whenever I come to a show, I'm going to say that and just play with it.
Yeah.
So now he actually plays around.
Well, thank you, Natalia, for story time with Big Money Dodge.
You're
welcome.
Big Money Dodge, do you have a question?
If you could face anyone in the indies today, your like dream match of an indie wrestler, who would it be?
Yeah.
And why?
Oh, probably Jacob Fatu. That guy is absolutely phenomenal. You know, I'm sure I'd have a hard time keeping up with that guy, and I'm sure I would feel it for the next 2 weeks. But that's a guy that I would absolutely love to wrestle. You know, just watching his matches, I'm in awe. So I would love to be a part of one.
He's a great guy in person. I met him a handful of times and learned so much.
I have heard that. I know a lot of guys that know him, and they say he's just absolutely awesome.
All right. Well, I will keep it short. My final question of the evening is, who do you think is the best wrestler turned actor?
Are you talking about their best acting as far as now, or do you mean like best wrestler that has now become an actor?
However you want to answer it.
I'm always 100% entertained by John Cena. That guy is hilarious at everything. Trainwreck, he's great in. Peacemaker, he's great. Peacemaker, he's incredible. I can't say I've ever seen John Cena be in something that I wasn't entertained by. Like, I'm not even into the Marine movies, and he's, good in the one I saw on that. He's got pretty much that guy. He's one of those people that you almost, there's a reason that so many people don't like him, is because he's good looking, he's jacked, he's great, he's talented. There's a reason why people don't like him, because he's the total package. But that's why he was the face of the WWE for a decade. He's got everything you could want. He's a pro. I mean, they call him the prototype, and there's a reason. The guy was incredible. Has always been incredible. You look at him, and he just instantly draws you in, and he's hilarious. He can be dramatic. Everything you want in an actor, I think he's got. So that's probably who I'd have. He could be your leading man. He can be the, like in Trainwreck, he's the leading woman's, hookup, and he's just great in that. He's willing to make an ass out of himself. He'll do whatever you want him to do, and to the absolute best of his ability, and his ability is immense. So I think he's just probably the best.
And he's good at pistachio commercials. No, but he looks like JBL right now. If he turns around, and sees that big old, bald spot. Kind of reminds me.
Oh, yeah. Well, when you chemically enhance yourself for that long, your hormones don't hold up and your hair falls out a little earlier. I would, allegedly, of course. But I don't think you can look that good and be that big 100% naturally.
Yep.
All right, Natty, make it good. Your last question, darling.
Oh, this is so
that was
cute.
so creepy on so many levels.
Shut up and answer your question, bitch.
Wow, now he's getting forceful. So I have a question, and then I have a statement to make. So my question is, what's your favorite wrestling movie?
Favorite wrestling movie? Oh man, that's a real hard toss up. Young me is gonna have to say No Holds Barred. and then a little bit older me's got to say Ready to Rumble. That's a toss up between those two. They're both really good, so I couldn't pick.
Okay, and my statement is this: I want to thank you, and I don't think I've ever told you this before. For like, when I was growing up, my family kept me like in a bubble because of my disability, right? Because they didn't want me to get hurt. You and Rogue and the other people we used to hang around popped that bubble so fast it wasn't even funny, right?
Yeah.
It was a culture shock because I wasn't used to that, but I wanted to thank you for that because it kind of made me the person that I am now. So
I'm happy I had a part in that, man. You know, I was kind of raised. My parents took care of people with disabilities, and I was just always raised to everybody's just a person. You know,
Yep.
what if they're capable of something and they enjoy doing it? Treat them just like everybody else. So why would you treat somebody differently? You know, and you always amazed me because like, you know, obviously there's a lot of things that we were doing that you weren't able to do, but you're always there the whole time, you know, encouraging us, watching us, and plus just your encyclopedic knowledge of wrestling, you know, being able to ramble off whole WrestleMania cards and everything is just incredible. So you always impress the hell out of me, and I'm glad that I had a part of helping you get out of your shell.
and you were the first one that coined the phrase to me, "death from above," bitch. So
That's still technically what my Vader Splash is called, but nobody really wants to call it that.
I promise you, if I ever commentate one of your matches again, I'll call it that on commentary. So I got you.
Okie doke.
All right, Money.
So, my question that everybody wants to know: where can we find you on your next match? Social media, where can we find you?
Draven Vargas on Facebook, social media. I also believe it's Draven Vargas on Instagram. I should have a link on my Facebook. But if you just Google Draven Vargas, typically you'd be able to find me. You probably also find my Twitter that I haven't used in like almost a decade. But uh, as far as my next match is going to be at Metal Mania 2 or Metal Mania 3. Trace. Man, I can't remember the building, but if you were to search in Facebook Metal Mania Trace, it's going to be an incredible card. Lots of big names on there. That's going to be the 23rd, Friday the 20th. Well, we can't have every show, every star on there. We got to save something for later, and we're just building up to you, right? So
there you go.
Save the best for last. But yeah, that Metal Mania is going to be my next show, and then then June's a pretty light month for me actually, which is kind of nice because I could just spend some time at home. The last couple of months have been pretty busy, double headers and stuff like that. So, and then July we got a few BCW shows down in Salem and around Oregon. Look up PNW BCW on Facebook. They typically got the big card on there. But if you follow me on Facebook, then I'm always sharing those posters, always letting everybody know where I'm going to be, well ahead of time. You might even get to see me make an ass of myself and do a promo for one of the matches.
Are you going to wear another dress?
No. I do that sometimes. In fact, a few years ago, I was a schoolgirl again for Halloween. It's just something I break out every once in a while. So, but I don't have any plans right now to be wearing any dresses. Although I think I'd look pretty killer in a kilt.
Stay tuned for that, folks.
I know Miss Natty up there is planning on wearing a dress here in the very near future. So,
yeah, you'll have to send me pictures.
I definitely will. So, with that,
in about a year's time, we're gonna do a fundraiser show for for the Special Olympics, I'm actually putting together a promotion called Inclusion Pro Wrestling. So I'll keep
Hell
you
yeah.
updated on that.
Definitely do that. Oh,
So,
definitely.
by
I
the
like
way,
helping
my
out causes where I can.
My announcement for you, ma'am, Natty. I am in talks with a superstar to be part of your promotion, and I have a meeting set up for this weekend with the Lumberyard. So,
Awesome.
like I love to say, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Nice.
okay. Now, since you both cut me off before I did my closing, are you both done
welcome.
now?
Maybe.
Big Money
are you gonna
Dodge,
pay
you
me
can
extra?
interrupt
I
me
can keep
anytime,
going.
but Natty, you interrupt me again. I know where you live, bitch. I'll come and slap that taste right out of your goddamn mouth.
You can try.
Woo!
Now, with that being said, we want to thank Draven for joining us tonight. Big Money Dodge, we are very honored that you're starting your own wrestling school up in Pullman. Very first class is next Tuesday night at 7, followed again next Thursday night at 7, and the rest of the month at 7 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Now, I know before I let Nos get into the next promotion, before the next sponsors, I know you've got an announcement for that school. So, Mr. Dodge,
I
let
have
everybody
an
know.
announcement to make an announcement that Tony Khan made me make an announcement tonight. So, I am in works. I want to thank you two up there, Natty and Tony, for helping me find a professional wrestling ring. Yes, I have to make a road trip to Ohio, but it's gonna happen. So, as we build this big money compound here at the Lumberyard in Pullman, we are doing online classes. The first time I've ever heard of an online classes. And our very first trainer is none other than SoCal Crazy, a big
Nice.
lucha in Southern California. He will be teaching up and coming, even if you've been in the business for, heck, maybe even more than him, over 20 years, and just want a refresher course. It's $25 a session, $150 a month. Tons of different wrestlers. It's not only him. We're going to have other promoters. We're going to have managers like me, and people that have been in the business over 10 years. Please, if you want to refresh your course, you want to even just know about the business that us two men are in, please, we welcome it. Check us out on Instagram at Big Money Compound. Follow me, Big Money Dodge, and just come join the fun. But again, thank you for helping get us a ring. Thank you guys.
It was my honor for sure, because like I told you guys last night, it was my honor to actually help Nathan get his dream of this podcast and now his very own promotion started. And Big Money, again, it was truly my honor to help you get this ring to make our dream happen. So thank you.
We're going to be making big money moves.
And now,
Yep.
I'm sorry, Natalia, you can make the rest of the sponsorship now.
Okay. Our next sponsor is Community Action Reaching Everybody. And to get a hold of the person that's in charge of that, you can get a hold of Becky Bernhardt on Facebook. And then the other one is Bruce Nichols Painting for all your pressure washing, lead removal, and obviously painting needs. And you can find him on Angie's.
So, for Mr. Big Money Dodge, the Wheeling Natalia, and our guest Draven, I'm Tony. We'll see you guys next time. Hey, Nathan, you stink. Get your fleet up, man. You stink. I can smell you all the way over here. Good night, guys.
Night.
Have a good night.